The middle school cafeteria was buzzing with noise. Kids laughed and talked loudly, trays clattered, and the smell of pizza filled the air. It was just another busy lunch hour, until a sudden sharp thud cut through the chatter. A lunch tray crashed to the floor with a loud smash. Heads turned as teachers rushed over. In the middle of the chaos, a boy lay on the ground, clutching his arm. Another boy stood nearby, his chest rising fast, eyes wide and tense. The boy standing was Eli. A teacher grabbed him firmly by the arm, and led him away from the crowd. Whispers spread quickly. Eli had started a fight. Later that day the principal handed down a suspension. But what no one knew was that Eli hadn't started the fight, he was just trying to survive. And when the truth finally came out, the whole school stood up for him. Eli was 13 years old, and had just started at Lincoln Middle School a few weeks ago. He was smaller than most kids his age, quiet, and kept to himself. He wasn't the kind of boy who asked for attention, or caused trouble. All Eli wanted was to find his place and get through each day without problems. The school felt big and overwhelming, especially with so many kids who seemed to already know each other. At the top of the social ladder was Zach, tall, strong, and popular. Zach was the star football player, always surrounded by friends and teachers who praised him. Everyone seemed to like Zach, except for Eli. Zach was everything, Eli was not. Where Eli was quiet and careful, Zach was loud and confident. And worst of all, Zach seemed to enjoy making Eli's life difficult. The principal, Mr. Raines, ruled the school with strict rules and a sharp eye. He believed in zero tolerance for fighting and troublemakers. There was no room for excuses, no chance for second chances. When Eli got into trouble, Mr. Raines didn't look for reasons, only punishments. Eli just wanted to get through school peacefully, but in a place where power ruled and silence was ignored. Staying safe wasn't easy. At first, the bullying started small. One day, Eli noticed his lunch was missing from his backpack. At first, he thought maybe he had left it somewhere, but then it happened again. Someone was taking his food. In the hallways, kids bumped into him on purpose, making him stumble. Once, Zach tripped Eli right in front of a group of students. Eli felt embarrassed and shocked, but he didn't know what to say. He decided to tell a teacher one afternoon. He hoped the adults would help, but when he explained what was happening, the teacher just nodded and told him to try to ignore it. Nothing changed. Zach and his friends laughed whenever Eli tried to talk about it. They said he was making a big deal out of nothing. Zach even called him a crybaby, and other kids started to believe it. After a while, Eli stopped telling anyone. He thought maybe if he stayed quiet, the bullying would stop, but it didn't. The bullying got worse. One day, Zach shoved Eli hard into a locker so fast that Eli hit his head. Zach spread rumors, saying Eli was weak and a loser. Eli came home with bruises on his arms and legs. His mother noticed and asked what happened. Eli didn't want to worry her, so he lied. "I fell down," he said softly. Inside, Eli felt invisible. It was like no one saw him, or cared what he was going through. Each day, his fear grew. He felt trapped in a world where the loud and strong ruled, and he was left alone to face the pain. He didn't want to fight. He just wanted to be left alone, but the bullying wasn't going to stop by itself. One afternoon in the noisy cafeteria, Eli sat quietly at a corner table, trying to eat his lunch without drawing attention. Suddenly Zach appeared, holding a carton of milk with a sly grin. Without warning, Zach poured the cold milk all over Eli's backpack. "Look at this loser," Zach sneered, loud enough for nearby students to hear. "Can't even keep his stuff dry." Eli's face flushed with anger and shame. For months, he had tried to stay calm, but this was the last straw. He stood up slowly, his hands trembling. "Leave me alone, Zach," Eli said quietly. Zach stepped closer, blocking Eli's way. "Or what? You gonna cry again?" That's when Eli snapped. He pushed Zach back, harder than he meant to. Zach's eyes flashed with rage, and before Eli could react, Zach threw a punch. The cafeteria exploded into chaos. Kids shouted and scrambled away as Eli dodged and tried to defend himself. They wrestled, fists flying, until teachers rushed in to pull them apart. Both boys were taken to the principal's office. Zach wiped a tear from his cheek and told Mr. Rains he attacked me for no reason. Eli opened his mouth to explain how Zach had bullied him for months, how he was only defending himself. But Mr. Rains didn't want to hear it. Fighting is unacceptable, the principal said coldly. Both of you will be suspended. Eli's heart sank. 3 days away from school, but more than that, the feeling of being misunderstood burned deep inside him. As Eli walked out of the office, the hallways were full of whispers. Some kids stared with pity, others with amusement. A few laughed, as if he were the villain in a story he never wanted to be part of. His world felt like it was falling apart. He didn't want to fight, and now, because he had fought back, he was being punished. Alone and scared, Eli wondered if things would ever get better. At the back of the cafeteria, hidden behind a row of tall students, sat Maya. She was quiet and shy, with a sketchbook always resting on her lap. Maya loved to draw, capturing moments others missed. She wasn't popular, but she had a kind heart and noticed things that others didn't. That day, Maya saw everything. She watched as Zach poured milk on Eli's backpack, heard the cruel names, and saw how Eli tried to stay calm, until he finally pushed back. She saw Zach throw the first punch too. After the fight, Maya couldn't stop thinking about what she had witnessed. She knew Eli was in trouble, but she also knew the story wasn't true. The next morning, Maya gathered her courage and went to tell her favorite teacher, Miss Thompson, what really happened. But Miss Thompson didn't seem very interested. "Those things happen sometimes," she said. "You're probably just upset." Maya felt her heart sink. She didn't want to get anyone in trouble, she just wanted the truth to be heard. Then she remembered something. She had been quietly recording the whole fight on her tablet, hoping to capture the school's spirit for a class project. "I have the video," Maya said, her voice shaking a little. "I recorded everything." Miss Thompson's eyes widened as Maya handed over the tablet. She watched the video carefully, her expression changing from doubt to surprise. "This changes everything," Miss Thompson said quietly. "We need to show this to the principal." Maya felt a small spark of hope. Maybe now, Eli's side of the story would finally be heard. Maya didn't wait long. The next day she took the video to the school counselor's office, her hands shaking slightly as she opened the door. The counselor, Mrs. Garcia, was kind but busy, typing on her computer when Maya nervously explained what she had. Mrs. Garcia took the tablet and pressed play. As the video started, her eyes grew wider and wider. She watched quietly, stunned by what she saw. The footage clearly showed Zach pouring milk on Eli's backpack and calling him names. It showed Eli staying calm for a long time, until he finally pushed Zach back in self-defense. And it showed Zach throwing the first punch. Mrs. Garcia looked up at Maya with a serious expression. "This changes everything." Eli wasn't the aggressor, he was protecting himself after being bullied for so long. Mrs. Garcia knew she had to act fast. She called Mr. Rains into her office and showed him the video. The principal watched the footage in silence. His face went pale, and for the first time, he didn't have a quick, firm answer. The zero-tolerance rule didn't seem so clear anymore. After a long pause, Mr. Rains sighed. "We need to address this with the whole school." He called for an assembly to be held the very next day. The news spread quickly. Students whispered, teachers exchanged surprised glances, and Eli, who had been avoiding everyone, heard about it from a few classmates. The assembly was set to reveal the truth. Everyone was curious and unsure about what would happen. Some wondered if the principal would admit he was wrong. Others were eager to see how the story would change. Eli sat alone in the empty classroom, his heart pounding. He didn't know what to expect. But deep inside, a small hope flickered. Maybe this time, someone would finally listen. The next day, the entire school gathered in the gym for an unexpected assembly. The buzz of whispers filled the room as students found their seats, curious about what was about to happen. Eli sat near the back, his hands trembling in his lap. He didn't know what to expect, but he hoped for some kind of justice. Mr. Raines stepped onto the stage, his usual stern expression softer than anyone had ever seen. He cleared his throat and looked out at the crowd. "Today, I need to say something important," he began. "Recently I made a decision about a fight that happened in the cafeteria. I suspended Eli, because I believed he started it." He paused, then looked directly at Eli. "After reviewing new evidence, I see now that I was wrong." Eli was defending himself after months of bullying. Maya's video played on the big screen behind him. The room fell silent, as everyone watched Zach pour milk on Eli's backpack, then saw Eli push back only after Zach swung first. Gasps echoed through the crowd. Teachers exchanged surprised looks. Some students whispered in disbelief. Zach sat frozen, his face pale and silent. Mr. Raines turned back to the crowd. "From now on, our school's zero-tolerance policy will not ignore the truth or the struggles students face. We will listen first, then decide." The gym remained quiet for a moment, then slowly, the applause began. It started as small claps but quickly grew louder. Some students even stood up, cheering for Eli. Eli stood there quietly, feeling overwhelmed. He wasn't sure how to react to all the attention. Tears welled up in his eyes, but this time, they were tears of relief. For the first time in a long time, Eli felt seen. The whole school had stood up for him, not because he fought back, but because the truth finally mattered. After the assembly, things began to change for Eli. Slowly but surely, kids who had ignored him before started to nod or say hello. Some even invited him to sit with them at lunch. The bullying stopped. Maya, the girl who had recorded the video, became one of Eli's first friends. She wasn't loud or popular, but she was kind and brave. Together, they found a small group where Eli could finally feel safe. As for Zach, the school didn't just let him off the hook. He was required to attend peer mediation sessions and counseling to understand how his actions hurt others. The teachers made it clear that bullying would not be tolerated, no matter who you were. Mr. Raines took the lesson to heart. He worked with teachers and students to change the school's zero-tolerance policy. From then on, they promised to listen carefully to every side before making decisions. Eli's story became more than just about one fight. It became a reminder to everyone at Lincoln Middle School that behind every quiet face, there could be a struggle they don't see. The narrator's voice softens. Sometimes, the quiet ones are the strongest. And when someone finally listens, the truth can make a whole school stand.